3 croissants, dude. I think we can start, boys. Should we use the intro song?
I don't know. I was thinking about it, and then I was like, I don't know.
I can just cold.
What do you think of the intro song?
I can just cold open it too.
I could put a different, like, quick jingle in there.
Should we put that RX 7 making that noise as the intro
Bum,
song?
bum, bum, bum.
Probably
should.
I don't think
start talking and then flow into it.
I don't think we even need an intro song.
Yeah, he's right.
I can probably just use. Oh yeah, okay.
Are we
Fine.
recording right now?
But I really do want to use that RX-7 audio.
Are we
that.
recording right now?
We are.
Well, guess what, boys? We're live. Just kidding. This isn't live. This is a pre-recorded podcast. Welcome to the Side by Side Blog podcast.
Hello.
It doesn't have a name. I think surrounding one fern, maybe,
Wow.
because there's a fern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You like that?
Luxurious.
surrounding a fern.
Surrounding a fern
Huh. That
with
sounds
Side
familiar.
by Side Blog. Or maybe we don't know what we're doing, but
gonna-
we're doing it side by side.
Are we gonna just like trash talk each other the whole time? Then,
I think
or-
so.
Matt, what's wrong with your face? It's
I don't
such
know.
a good looking face.
It's great looking. You're a handsome guy.
That is a big problem, isn't it?
I just can't believe how good looking you are.
Everyone has their cross to bear, you know.
Very distracting.
This is our first podcast in the newly remodeled podcast room.
Yeah.
Demodeled.
Demodeled,
Demodeled.
which means the podcast room no longer exists because apparently we had too many walls in here.
Can't build a building in a building and then not put the building inside of that building. And then if you don't put the building in it, you're going to get in trouble.
The city said, you got too damn many walls. Better get rid of them walls.
Yeah,
It's working out okay, though. I think the lighting's better.
It is way better, and the sound is marginally different.
We're okay.
From
Or
where I'm
not
sitting,
different.
I don't notice a difference.
We're
at
not
all.
good enough for it to matter. So
That's
Right.
very true. That's a good
That's a
space to
good
live
point,
in.
yeah.
It's a good space to live in. All right, let's get down to business. We're here to talk about the year of 2025.
Wow.
And its off-road lineup of
Yowzer.
machines from Polaris, from Can-Am, from CFMOTO. I think those are the interesting players for 2025.
Yeah, it's weird to consider those the like kind of the big three now, right?
Yeah.
But like they're the only ones that are like truly innovating the sport.
Right. The only ones doing significant things at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's our focus. You guys want to go like chronological order, work through this stuff?
I think that's the right choice.
Okay.
Sure.
I think Polaris dropped first for 2025, right?
Yes.
So what did Polaris do on our Pro Series stuff? We got some new styling. Outside, inside, we got some seat changes. We got some name changes. So let's see. You guys have looked at this stuff, right?
Correct.
Or seen it
definitely
at
yeah.
some point. So 2025 Polaris Pro R and now Pro S. Used to be Turbo R. We've got new exterior styling. Changed it up a bit. We've got some new doors. I think they look pretty good. Interesting features would be some new air ducts
Mm-hmm.
to get fresh air into the cab,
Which you can close.
which you can close, which is important.
So that's important.
So it's not a dust duct, which could come into play often.
A dusked.
Classic DD, dude.
Dust.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, cool little feature. I think there's always a lot of complaints about cab heat. So that was a easy change to make to try to get some cool air into the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. I could see it being effective in some scenarios. I think in a lot of our riding conditions, unless you're leading, you don't want those ducts probably.
Yeah, I'd like to try them. I bet you if they work well, they'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, like they'd cool you.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how well they actually funnel the air. Like if you can actually feel it like a real breeze, might be nice.
Yeah. And I guess if you're riding in dust already,
Yeah,
more
unless you
dust,
have like
who cares?
like an enclosure, then you definitely want them closed. But other than that,
Right.
it's kind of like whatever.
Doesn't really matter. So maybe you only close them in the winter when you want less cold air.
Yeah, or maybe, well, no, it doesn't. I was going to say maybe it'll duct heat from the radiator in, or you could rig it to do that
Oh, you probably could rig it.
and have just like a free heater.
You know,
What are you, crazy, Matt?
sometimes.
Giving away our product ideas.
What's your deal?
Shoot, I'm sorry.
I mean, there's times when you're riding. I mean, my 1K, that thing was atrocious as far as interior heat goes. And then
Yeah.
my Turbo S, it was pretty freaking hot. Like, there'd be times where I'd have to open the door to let air come in,
Yeah.
even though I didn't have a, enclosure or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Still
I think
too
it's
hot.
a good idea in general.
What do you
Like, it
think?
works.
What do you think about the styling? What do you think about how they look?
Oh, man, I'm on the fence about the styling. Here's my deal with the styling, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best looking machine ever created on the, and this is very, one-sided, I'm sure, because I own the machine, but
Honda Talon.
you're stupid.
Get
idiot.
out of here.
Can-Am X3.
Get out of here. It's
Oh
the,
my
it's
gosh,
the Turbo S,
It's the
hands
Turbo
down.
S. It's
Yeah,
the
I
best
agree.
looking machine ever designed, in
Yep.
my opinion.
Yep.
And I think that goes amongst many people, but like it was as if they just took like the best characteristics of that machine and tried to put it in these Pro Series cars,
Mm-hmm.
which I have a hard time with because I see a Pro XP or a Pro R or whatever it is, and then I just see some fangs on it, and it's like, hey, you remember we
whole
used to make
mach-
good-looking cars, and then we kind of changed that. Now we want you to look at them again.
I don't know. I think it's really cool.
That's
I think,
cool. I'm glad you do.
I think they improved the styling. I like that they got rid of the wings on the rear fenders. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The fangs do a little dance when you start it up.
Do a little dance.
I do enjoy that.
So
make
there
it
there is
little-
that.
I mean, I'd have to see the sucker in person for sure. I think the doors, I'm on the fence about the doors as well. Like, they look a little... I think they look good. Like, they flow with the body really well. But I also really like the doors on the Pro before. Like, I thought that body flew pretty well.
I don't know. I like that they have full coverage now.
Sure.
And it was also mentioned that now they have like a straight line all the way down. Because, as a guy that works on these things all the time, that old styling the door would catch on the rear fender.
That's
If
super
there was
true.
any
Yeah.
sort of misalignment
Yeah.
at all, if you hit a bump the wrong way, or
Yeah.
you've had that happen where
Yeah.
you hit you bottom it out a little too hard, all of a sudden your door catches on the rear fender.
That's a
That
real-
should not be an issue with this new design.
Yeah, I do like that. That was a constant problem. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I don't love it. I don't love it. But it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
it's
it's
certainly
fine.
not offensive.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Updates are always good.
Sure.
Love the fang lights. Love the Turbo S style front end. I just don't know if it completely works with the car.
I think
Well,
it's just one of those like just updating for the sake of updating,
Sure.
because they had to,
Yeah.
and like in a few months, you won't even think about it.
That's a good
It'll
point.
just be normal, and
I mean, this is
This
sort
is
of how
true.
we felt about the Pro Series stuff when it first came out. Like, I didn't love that, like that design idea, I guess.
Mhm.
But it grows on
It
you.
grows on you. Yeah. Now, like, you change it to this, and you're like, man, I just started falling in love with the way that looked.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's probably just because you loved the Turbo S so
Yeah.
much,
I mean, I still,
as did I.
Yeah.
So
Moving on to that, renaming that machine Pro S, I feel like, man. I mean, in my heart, I wish they would have just continued with the Turbo S as it was. It was just a Turbo S.
Mhm.
Like, it was such a defining machine. Like, you did it dirty. You did the poor guy so dirty.
I don't know, but isn't the new Turbo R now Pro S, isn't that just a better machine in every category
For sure.
than a Turbo S?
I
So
suppose.
yeah,
I mean, give and take, I guess.
there was a magic to that Turbo S though, because it was
Yeah.
such an exciting time in the industry when it was moving so fast.
Yeah.
Things were exploding,
Mhm.
and that was a huge leap when that came out. I think there will always be a magic associated with it.
With the Turbo S.
And
yeah.
you bring that S letter back to try to capture a little bit of that. I'm thinking like, man, just call it the Turbo S again. Let's go.
Bring her back, dude.
Just do it.
Bring
Does
her
it-
back.
It's just a name. Does it matter? No, but
No, I guess that's true. I
Kinda.
know. I am excited to, like I said, to see those and drive those and see what they're actually like. But yeah, you're right, Matt. Or who said it, Doug or Matt? I don't know. Yeah, overall, these are pretty much.
these are way better.
They're
Oh yeah,
another
yeah.
league.
They're
old-
pretty much better in
Yeah.
every way.
Yeah.
I think. some of the other minor things about, like, say the top level Pro R, that red X button on the steering wheel has a little different functionality now too. Because before, you hit it and it'll be full stiff for like as long as you hold it, right? Now it has a function where if you double tap it, it stays full firm in the suspension until you double tap it again.
Wow.
That's kind of a neat little improvement.
Wow.
Is it like a momentary button too, where like
It
if
still
you hit
works.
it one time, it'll lock it for
For
I think
like 5 seconds,
Like
I
3
think.
seconds or
I thought it was
something.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it still does that, but now if you double tap it, it stays on.
Yeah.
If you're, going to be continuing to go through a really rough
right.
section of trail. And also, I really like that they made all the interior panels body color,
Yeah, I
like
think they
like
did a
we've
good
been
job on
doing
that.
for years.
Yeah.
Now they're doing it from the factory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and heated and cooled seats.
It
just to
seems
kinda,
as if I'd have to say. I think we're seeing it in real life. It seems as if the interior panels look a little different to me too. Like it looks like those, like all those, like the glove box and all that stuff. It looks like it's a different system. Because those latches that were on the Pros before when they first came out were maybe some of the worst of all time.
Mhm.
They
It
just didn't
is.
work very well.
Let me see if I can find a good picture really fast. But anyways, it is. They definitely
It
did.
is different.
Yeah. Update those things. The dash is a little different. I think glove box is a little different.
It definitely looks a little more sleek
So
and maybe more refined.
not revolutionary changes, but
No,
it's
but-
evolving.
Oh,
Listening
you
to
get
what people are saying, I guess.
you get beadlocks now.
And the beadlocks, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge thing too. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a huge thing. I think on that Pro R, I just think like any modern machine now, like it not coming with beadlocks from the factory is just crazy. Like they're so capable.
Mhm.
Like it's almost necessary to have beadlocks. It's not
Yeah.
like an accessory. Like you need beadlocks.
At these power levels and at the weight. So that's,
Yeah.
one thing when you start to talk about Pro S versus Turbo S, if I had a complaint, it's the weight of some of these new chassis,
Yeah.
making them, less playful feeling, but also when you have 200 plus horsepower or, 181 horsepower for a Pro S in a heavy rig, it's easy to blow tires
Yeah,
off a wheel.
Yep.
that was an issue I had on my Turbo S. Even then, they
Yeah.
needed, remember how many times I blew beads in the field? Like it was like
Hundreds.
every time we would
Hundreds.
go out. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So I guess, not to skip past the heated and cooled seats either, available in, I think, just the ultimate models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty bougie.
It is, but I think that's badass. Honestly, there's times where I'm like, man, it sure would be not so much the cooled seats, more the heat. It's just the winter
Mhm.
riding. It's like, man, I wish that there was a fire on my body.
My butt is so cold because I'm sitting on this chunk of ice.
Yeah. Now they just need a heated steering wheel.
Man.
And I
Could
think
you imagine?
I think you'll be back into side by sides then.
Could you? I didn't leave side by side.
Oh,
What's your problem?
Sorry.
He's got
What's
a
your
family
deal?
now,
I
dude.
just haven't seen you drive one in a while.
What the heck?
You would. Hey, you wouldn't want to see me drive one, Matt.
Yeah, that's true.
My skill levels on driving. Granted, I haven't performed this in real life, but I just feel like they're at an all-time high. So
Really? Okay. Okay.
It's simulated
the
experience.
problem with
all-time high.
simulation, right?
Okay. What else can we say about these things? Did we miss anything major?
Does like the Rangers, the high-end Rangers and stuff like that, have heated and cooled seats?
Ooh,
I
that's a
feel
good
like
question.
those are the machines that actually need that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I would imagine on that big
If they-
dog XD one, like you would think that it would have all that, but
I
If they
don't
don't, it's
know
gotta
the
be coming,
answer.
I'm sure.
yeah.
I know the Ranger got a new transmission that shifts better, which is cool because the old transmissions did sometimes shift very poorly.
Yeah.
We've experienced that, so
Yeah.
that's a good update.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still want one of them XDs. I want to see what that's all about.
The
Yeah.
1500s.
I
Yeah.
really want
Yeah.
to see what
Yeah.
that's all about because, in case, the audience doesn't know, they have like a revolutionary like automotive style CVT transmission. And it's both clutches are completely computer controlled. So you put the sucker in like comfort mode and it won't go over like 3,500 RPM. It'll just stay nice and quiet, move itself along. It doesn't have to rev and shift way out. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that
awesome.
is rad.
There's also no low gear, which is interesting. on
bolt,
those.
Just handle it in the
You're
clutches.
supposed to just you just put it in tow haul and let the computers do the work for you.
You just don't need it.
It's pretty neat.
I
That
don't
is a neat
think
machine.
I don't think the big dog Rangers got heated and cooled seats simply because when you get into like the North Star stuff, you have heating and air conditioning with an
Yeah.
enclosed cab.
Right.
I'll continue to look, but
Man, I mean, like the Pro R, like the Pro Series is like the freaking S-Class Mercedes things. Like all the technology from them trickle down to the rest of their
Mhm.
machines, you know?
yeah. Okay, so Polaris doing some cool stuff.
Doing some cool stuff.
Doing some
No, cool stuff.
It's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
they're cool cars.
cool,
No, they're definitely I
cool
mean,
cars.
At the end of the day, you know, maybe biased, maybe unbiased. I don't know. I'd still probably get a Pro R again.
I think you're biased.
Why do you say that, dude?
You
Because
think-
I only like the best machines on the market? Screw
All right.
you, man.
You ever
All
even
right.
driven a
All
Can-Am?
You don't even know how to spell it, dude.
Yeah.
They don't have Can-Ams on a simulator. dude, so-
I do actually. I do have.
Oh, dang.
Dude, BMG, dude. I have a freaking.
That's
I have
the
a
best
Maverick
game.
R.
It's the best game ever.
All
You
right.
have a Maverick R
I have
on
a
there?
Maverick R. I have a Pro R. I have an XP. I have a Kawasaki Mule. I have a Kawasaki KRX. You watch your tongue, bro.
Let's wrap up each
Sorry.
individual brand like this. All right, Steve, if you were going to go buy a new Polaris right now, what model would you buy?
I would probably be more into like the 1500 Rangers or maybe an Expedition, honestly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think I would if it was a sport machine, I would definitely take the Pro S over the Pro R.
Okay.
I just like the smaller machine more. But
Makes sense.
Fair enough. Nick Seuss?
I think from a Nick Seuss point of view, I would go with a Pro R again. I think from a carrying my family as well as my wife
Yeah.
perspective, it would be the XD or the Expedition. Probably the XD, but also maybe the Expedition. I feel like these kids like being jostled, you know, like I still jostle them around.
Yeah, shake them a little
Quick little
bit.
shake,
They
yeah,
like,
put 'em
yeah,
to
they like
sleep.
rough stuff.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Yeah, okay.
That's not good. Yeah, I would probably buy the Pro S. I like the little
Yeah.
shorter wheelbase and the little lighter machine. It's basically like I have the Turbo R for that same reason.
Yeah,
And it rips. It's rowdy,
yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would do the Pro R.
yeah, of
Just-
course you would.
Just
Of
get
course.
get the top one. It's mainly because I just don't really like the turbo 2 cylinders that much.
Yeah.
Just from what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
I think that 4-cylinder is a little more robust.
Yeah.
So
It is
strictly based on that, I would probably do the
That's
Pro
fair.
R.
That's fair.
Yeah, the motor's a gem. I think it's a beautiful. Like it's a fun motor.
Yeah.
She's smooth.
It's like a well-tuned instrument.
Finally tuned athletic machine.
All right, let's move on to Can-Am.
Okay, here you go, Matt. This is your free. Oh, never mind.
They were next. Matt is out of this conversation.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Dang it.
All right, the big thing that Can-Am did is they dropped a 4-seat Maverick R.
Big dog.
This is a beast of a unit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a desert limousine.
Yeah.
Huge. I think the wheelbase is like 7 inches longer than a Pro R 4-seater.
Jeez.
Ish.
Man, I think
I
I
looked
saw.
at-
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I looked it up. It's only a couple inches shorter wheelbase than my truck, my 4-door truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's-
Really?
I think it
Mhm.
has the same, if not longer, wheelbase than a Chevrolet Suburban.
Wow.
It's a
checks
big
out.
girl.
Yeah. I think it's like about the same wheelbase as a Greyhound bus.
I think
Two
it
of
was
them
about the
stacked
same
together.
size as a locomotive train. I don't know how to get that.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be tough to haul these things to the trails,
Yeah,
you know?
like turning them is a real issue. Even with modern 4-seaters now, minus that one, it's hard. Like you remember we went to all those trails in West Virginia. Like you
Yeah.
have to make those sharp turns.
Yeah.
You're 3-pointing those suckers.
Yeah, I think, in one way, once you cross the threshold with these machines, it starts to not matter as much. The Maverick R was already a pretty dang
Gigantic.
large,
Yeah,
very, not one-trick pony, but purpose
yeah, it was very purpose built. Yeah.
Mhm.
machine. It already did not exist for the likes of tight trail riders on
Sure.
the East Coast and such. It really is a wide open spaces kind of unit to begin with. So
Yeah.
if you make it a 4-seater and it's a mile long, does it really matter?
I mean, could you imagine how well that sucker handles?
It's probably so smooth in
Could
that
you
front seat.
imagine?
Yeah, the whoops and stuff. It's probably, and they're so quiet. Like, with that engine all the way back there, it'd probably be like an electric car
Yep. Just cruising.
as far as quietness.
I think look-wise, I mean, personally, I think it fit. I mean, as far as looks go, I think it looks proportionate. Like, it looks like it should be that length
Mm-hmm.
based on, like, how big that car was. I mean, the Maverick R is not a small car.
I agree.
You know?
I think it looks good.
When the X3s came out, like the 4-seaters in those looked absurdly long too, like as
Yeah.
a joke. And then just everybody likes them now.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just not that big of a deal.
You just get used to
too,
it.
it's the trim, too. Like, you see those in, like, the lower trims, and they come factory with, like, the tie rods, or the radius rods that look like they're just horizontal, like
Yeah,
they're
when
not
they're
set
low
up
to the
correctly.
ground and-
Mhm.
And then they're just cruising through the dunes, specifically when you're at Glamis, and you're like, wow, that guy is riding way too low.
It's gonna have a bad time.
And it starts to look a little weird. But then when you get a little more offset
Yeah,
and a little bigger
right.
tire, get it up in the air a little bit, it all starts to come
Yeah,
together.
it's like, wow, that's how that car's supposed to look.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Like, you put some bigger tires on it, you get the ride height right.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can never deny the wheelbase when it comes to going through bumps fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this thing is going to rip whoops like crazy.
Yeah, and I already did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is definitely a desert machine.
Mm-hmm.
What else? They took their front knuckles and their front upper control arms and made them black. They tried to hide them. Like, they're embarrassed of them.
They took their redheaded
stepchild
and made it black.
That is an interesting move because, I mean, my opinion is that might make the first year models maybe a little more desirable, or like
A little
and
special.
if there's a future for these things to be collectible, like if you got the ones with the silver knuckles,
Yeah.
like, okay, that's first year, first edition, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's kind of neat, but
I personally liked the silver because it's such a crazy feature of the car. And I know, okay, maybe some people think it looks goofy, but technically it's a very significant feature and standout feature. It's weird. So just own it. Like, we talked about painting
Yeah.
ours red just to be ridiculous,
Yeah,
to make them pop more.
I absolutely love the knuckles and A-arms on those machines. Like, I think that's so cool.
I think they listen to the internet a little too much, is what
Mhm.
happened. I mean, let's be honest. The internet went a little wild with those knuckles. There were some funny memes, for
Yeah.
sure. Maybe
Yeah.
some of them were a little hurtful. You think this company just spent, probably half a decade trying to design a car that does what it does, and then they're just like, wow, look at your stupid design.
Yeah.
I heard it was like 10 billion in R&D for those.
Who told you that?
So,
Donald Trump.
yeah.
You're a liar, man.
And then the internet just cracks right down on 'em.
Cracked them down.
You
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It looks crazy because it's crazy. It's a crazy design.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just put something that goes on, essentially like full-size trucks in a side-by-side, and
Yeah.
There was a lot of like concerns that were just totally unfounded on those.
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
They're
Like the
just
whole-
people jumping on a bandwagon because they're wanting to crap on them.
Yeah. You can't fit 35s on there. This is a trash machine. It's trash.
No, what was the one? You're going to get tree branches caught in those things.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's actually happened to anybody.
Literally never happened.
I mean,
So many tree branches, man.
right. You'd get way less tree branches if the arm was sticking inside the wheel with only an inch of clearance.
Yeah.
That's way better for stuff.
I know it.
There's a lot of things on the internet that don't make any sense. There's a lot of opinions on the internet that don't make any sense.
That's why it's
It's
internet,
tough.
dude.
Mhm.
It's tough out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Can-Am, there's not a whole lot to say about their 2025 lineup because you just have the 4-seat or the Maverick R Max, right?
Yeah.
And then the Poor X3 just still in the breeze, still on sale, still unchanged 7 years later.
I mean,
The
I'm going
goat,
to say
dude.
this one time. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this one time. You build something that well, like, you really don't need to change much about it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I was thinking about this the other day too. Like, that machine is 7 years old now,
Yeah.
right? It's still just a wild looking and performing machine.
Yeah.
So
It
I just
is.
wish that they would put like the higher technology, like what, BRP has in Ski-Doos and Sea-Doos. Like, come on, why
Yeah.
can't we have like the gauge cluster with GPS in it and stuff like that?
That
Yeah.
does seem ridiculous at
Yeah.
this
I
point.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I would still really love to see an X3 with just a little bigger engine, like a 1600 or something, that you just didn't have to lean on so hard to get power out of.
Right.
That you could make a little bit more power on pump gas, something like that.
Right.
I'm sure there's reasons that they don't do that legally or something, but I don't know. But I'd still really like to see that.
No.
Yeah.
I think like the X3 still like encapsulates like a power sports feeling more than other machines do. Like just a rawness and intensity that a lot of the Polarises don't have.
Yeah.
Despite the Polaris like performing really well.
Yeah, just like the direction
could
that they
agree with
took
that.
with their other machines compared to with an X, like an X3 is
Mhm.
very. It's like a raw. Like I agree with what you're saying.
Lightweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kinda
Like,
race
it's
car
made
feeling.
to just freaking rip.
Yeah.
You know? Like there is no radio, there is no technology. Like there's a tack, there's a steering wheel, there's pedals.
Just go
That's
drive.
it. Go drive it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what I like about them personally. That's why I prefer the Can-Ams and the X3 specifically. But yeah, I just wish they would update the interior, or I'm guessing they're probably just going to let it sort of fade out and eventually replace it with like another model that's just like a tier lower than the Maverick R.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing. But
Yeah, they definitely need a do-it-all machine because a Maverick R is not a Maverick R. It doesn't have a broad appeal, I don't think.
Mhm.
It's too specific, so.
Yeah, whereas Polaris's lineup with the Pro S and the Pro R, like, and all the machines, that are lower than that, like, it's a pretty darn complete lineup
It is. It is.
of like universal machines.
Right.
Yeah, and like very specific, not specific, but like there's a machine for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Yeah.
And Tom, with that, I just remembered how much fun I had in that XP1K.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
Mhm.
I may
simple
have to
things.
change my answer about which Polaris I would buy, but completely irrelevant now.
I
Yeah.
did forget. I
Yeah.
really did forget about that new 1K.
Well, does that bring us to that point in the discussion related to Can-Am? Matt, if you're going to go buy a new one today, I think we know the answer with you because you just recently
Oh.
did this, but
Yeah. I would get another X3
Yeah.
for sure. I would maybe get like, they still have XMRs, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so,
I would
yeah.
probably go for an XMR this time.
Interesting.
And like, well, I don't know, maybe not, because then you don't get as good a shocks.
The XMR has a terrible speed limiter from the factory.
Yeah, that's
They're
true
They're
too.
like
easier,
60
they're easier to
something?
tune now,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
I don't know. So like XRC is pretty hard to beat, I think.
It's a pretty good combo. I
Mhm.
would have to agree. I probably would buy an X3. I like the Maverick R, It's cool. Lots of cool features. If we were in a place where all I was ever doing was high-speed desert running, spent my life, at 90 miles an hour always, for sure. But I don't know. It doesn't have the playfulness. It doesn't have the ability to just run into something and bounce off of it and
Yeah.
blip the throttle. And
Yeah.
it's not a playful machine. So it's not for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably get an X3 as well. Like the Maverick R, just almost I think I described it to all of you guys. It's like a precision, like tool, right? Where it's like it just does things so well that it's almost not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take it to the trail, like you try to get it sideways, you try to do this, you try to do that. It just does everything perfect, right? So it's just like you're just going super fast.
Yeah.
And I guess that's good as far as like if you're trying to be the fastest person, but if you're trying to, flick it out or
Have a driving
Have a,
experience.
Right. Yeah, the Maverick R is like, it's very good at what it was designed to
Yeah.
do. It's just not quite as like universal
Yeah.
as other side-by-sides. As far as like, I think you're a little bit limited as to what you can do with the Maverick R. And if you put it into certain situations, like you have to do what it wants not what you want.
Right.
Mhm.
That's a good way to put it.
That's the biggest. I guess it's not a problem with it. It's more of like a quirk.
Yeah.
But
A consideration when purchasing.
yeah, with the way the transmission works and the way the whole, powertrain package as a whole works, is you really have to know what it likes
Yeah.
in order for it to, perform the best for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Man, I'm torn. I don't know, because it is definitely kind of a love-hate with the Maverick R. Like it is, like you talked about, to really have an exciting time in the Maverick R, you have to push it so unbelievably hard because it is really good at what it does.
Yeah.
But it also kind of limits your fun in that way. It's like the most fun I've ever had in a side-by-side is ripping 50-inch wide machines.
Yeah.
It's because you're just like holding on for dear life, just trying to keep it on all its wheels.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
like you are in, like you're driving the machine.
You're
to
driving.
You're
Driving
actually
experience.
driving it to like there's no help. It's like you.
It's
in
much
that
more demanding. Yeah.
You know.
A street legal Maverick R could be sweet though.
Oh, that would be
Man.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. The X3 is probably still the safe bet though, just
Yeah.
because it is more of a do-it-all machine.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Here's the thing: they built a machine so good that it's just not fun.
I mean, I think it's fun in its uniqueness, but
Yeah.
other than
Yeah,
that,
the transmission
like,
is a fun experience. The motor itself is a fun experience, but
Yeah, and again, very, very good. But like this will get into discussion. Maybe we'll have just a little bit later about, what's actually important when owning a side by side. What are you actually trying to do?
yeah.
Are you trying to have a driving experience? Are you recreational, or are you a racer? If you're a racer, if that's what you're doing, all right, competitive. But
yeah, especially out west.
yeah. But if you're not, if you're a recreational person looking to go out and just have a driving experience with your friends, really got to think about buying something like a Maverick R, whether that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I guess, with that, we could touch too, and this goes across the board for all side-by-sides. Like that, me and Matt had a discussion about this. Also, a big problem with that car is it's, if you want that car plus every nice accessory they have, it's like $80,000. And that's not
Right.
even kidding. Like that's actually,
Yeah.
like you can go to their site, park that sucker out, and it's almost $80,000.
Yeah.
It is
That's
very,
crazy.
very expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to our next brand, probably.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Unless you had something else there. I didn't mean to cut you short, but
No. Basically, what I'm saying is this. It's not something. It's like the sport's starting to get into a point where it's getting harder and harder to get into like these top dog machines. It's like the Turbo S when it
Yeah.
came out.
yeah, keeping
Yeah.
up with the Joneses is starting to get expensive.
Yeah, it's too
Yeah.
much. By the time you get the truck and the toy hauler
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the side by side, you're rolling around with, $400,000 rig.
Yeah, and like
That's not crazy.
touching
Yeah.
on what Steve was saying, it's like you could have maybe more fun with a $20,000 rig. Even
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like, yeah.
My XP, dude, I bought that sucker for $15,000 out the door. That was one of the funnest machines I've ever had.
Yep. Yeah.
Which was a lot then, but I don't think that equates to $50,000 now.
Right.
Like,
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
All right. So next brand, CFMOTO. We just got back. Me and Steve just got back, and
Yeah.
Justin went from their dealer show in Minnesota.
real jelly on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
jelly.
same.
You two guys
I
really
could
messed
not make
up.
it, but
You two guys really messed up. No, so anyways, I'm sure everybody's aware of this by now. They dropped this new ZFORCE Z10 starting at $20,000, $19,999. It seems like someone hurt CFMOTO. And they're
out for
pissed,
blood.
and they're out to hurt people.
That
Back
price
now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
was shocking. I mean, we knew it was going to be relatively cheap. Like they were going to come at it hard to get a place in the market. And I was still thinking somewhere around like 25 after seeing the machine.
Yeah.
Oh, because they didn't tell you the price or anything before, huh? You just saw the machine and then?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. yeah, looking at that machine, just from looking at it, I didn't expect it to be $20,000.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
It's a pretty wild value. And I know we've talked, internally a bunch, and people who are watching this podcast maybe have seen our initial review video, but the value proposition of that thing is pretty nuts. It is legitimately a very nice machine inside and out. We couldn't find any particular area where it seemed cheap. We couldn't find anything that made you look at it and go, oh, that's why it's only 20 grand.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing about it was like, okay, I see why it's so cheap now. Like it's not actually there. It's actually just seemingly a very good value.
Yeah, it's just inexpensive. I don't think cheap is the
Yeah,
correct
sure,
word.
it's $20,000 still
It's
a lot of money.
inexpensive. It's a good value proposition. I really enjoy the fact that like not many people know this, but we were on the ground floor basically of the development of that machine.
Yeah.
No.
We went to their headquarters and checked out the clay models, and then next time we were there, they already had like test mules built.
I broke one of the clay models. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel bad for rolling one.
It's not like, a clay model costs 300 grand or anything. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, like, I think that's a really cool thing. Their U.S. division is based in Minnesota, and it's just a good group of dudes that are designing and building these things. Now, this is a relatively recent, team that's been put together.
Yep.
The old, ZFORCE 950s and stuff were kind of like a carryover, from what I understand.
Yes.
So then the significance of this Z10 is it's like the first one that's been designed by this U.S. crew.
Right.
I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it legitimately is a new thing. And certainly the narrative surrounding it for a while is going to be China, right? That's what everybody's going to talk about. And that might be a tough one for a bit, but the thing is legitimately designed, here in the US with people that are connected to the sport. We've been following it for a while, knew this was coming for a while. It's going to be assembled in Mexico, so in North America at least, just like the others. It's a good rig, and I think we're all as patriotic as the next guy.
Right. Yeah.
All love our country, but also I think it's important to have a realistic view about the world we live in today and this global economy we take part of. And I tell people this story. I know you guys have all heard it before, but I'll just quickly say it again, from my perspective. Before doing side-by-side blog, I was a product engineer, right? Designed car parts, steering system parts for GM and for Ford. I worked on these programs, full-size, Chevy truck and SUV, full-size Ford truck and SUV. I worked on the C7 Corvette, a little bit of C8 Corvette. I was at the assembly plants, at the proving grounds. It was like the most American-feeling job of all time, working on the bread and butter of American automobiles. And the company was headquartered, here in Saginaw, Michigan, and it felt patriotic. But at the end of the day, that company was owned by a Chinese holdings company who was a subsidiary of a Chinese government investment firm. That's just how it goes, So you look at it, and it looks so homegrown and so American. That's just not the world we live in. Money's flying all over the place. Parts are flying all over the place. Like, it's not black and white like people would like it to be.
Yeah. And I could go on and on about like, how many Japanese cars are actually built in the U.S., but like, your point is made.
Right. It's just not that clear cut. And I don't think it's wrong to consider where your money is going when you spend your money. I'm just saying that you should, if that's a concern for you, you should look into it a little deeper and research it a little more before you make a knee-jerk decision like that.
Yeah.
They're good. They're really good machines. at a
Yeah.
really good price. And I think the industry needs it badly because personally, I think things have gotten a little out of control, a little out of hand.
For sure.
In general, it just seems like that team is focused on what actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
Just, how people are actually going to have fun in their machines. Like, just little creature comforts, user interfaces, stuff like that. I
Yep.
think they're just actually paying attention to what matters and not necessarily trying to, like, one-up everybody on a spec sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, if I could criticize anything from what we saw out there, it's not much. Yeah, we'd like to see more horsepower. We'd like to see the wider model. I don't like digital gauges. I like analog gauges and needles, but I mean, it's not major. The chassis, the fit and finish, the quality of things,
All really good.
really good.
And I mean, those machines, maybe even hand-built, but definitely hand-picked. So guess we'll have to wait and see what production machines look like, but I think they'll probably be pretty good based
Right.
off their other products. Like even, motorcycles and ATVs, I think, are pretty well up there at this point in terms of
Mhm.
fit and finish. So I
Yeah.
kind of expect the same from the Z10.
Yeah, like how long have you had that motorcycle for now? Like, have you had any problems with that sucker?
Probably like 14 months. Nah, I freaking love that bike.
No.
It's a daily ride, a CFMOTO motorcycle that I just bought. And I absolutely love that thing. Got like 3,000 miles on it now.
The CLX 700.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. And, this team for this off-road stuff is new here in the USA. Not necessarily new to the industry, but new under the CFMOTO umbrella. But CFMOTO is not at all a new company whatsoever. I think, like in Europe, they're a top brand when it comes to ATVs, motorcycles. Like, this is actually a big company who's been doing this kind of stuff for a long time.
Yeah, and they have major ties with KTM too, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the bikes, the engines built literally in the same factory as
Yeah.
KTM.
Mm-hmm.
It's a partnership. So,
One of the other things I wanted to mention, just about the value of it, and even talking about the horsepower. I paid $26,000 for my X3 at the end of 2016, and at that time, those only had 154 horsepower, I think.
right.
So if you're comparing the Z10 to that trajectory, maybe.
Oh.
And we're back. All right. So you were just talking about pricing and what these new things actually compare to, or what
Yeah,
they could or should be compared to.
Specs wise, 26 for my X3. Maybe you knock a couple grand off of that. I don't remember the exact price for a 64-inch wide mile, but other than a 10 more horsepower, the Z10 kind of outshines X3 in just about every way.
Yeah.
Compared to the plastic interior and stuff like that, none of that stuff is really detracting your experience with the machine all that much. But when it's nicer, it's cool.
Still nice to have.
Still
yeah.
nice to have.
Right.
Still makes you
Especially
feel
when you're
good.
paying for it.
And I think, we're going to compare it to things like the X3 and the turbo razors because it's a 3-cylinder turbo engine. In our minds, that's what we're going to compare to.
Mm-hmm.
But also important to remember that thing's coming in cheaper than a Talon. It's coming in cheaper than a KRX. You gotta be pooping me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I like to compare it to, I think the best comparison for it is a base model X3.
Mm-hmm.
So a DS turbo, and that's 130 horsepower?
135.
135, yeah. So it's 135, a little bit less. You don't get a winch. You don't get Apple CarPlay.
Yep.
You don't get suspension seats. Everything else is basically the same though. 64-inch, 2.5 inch shocks all the way around.
Yep.
30-inch tires on 14s. It's a pretty direct comparison. And a DS Turbo, which is the base model now, is $22,000.
Yeah.
I think it's 22 or 23,000. So it comes in a couple grand higher. So I don't know.
So-
That makes the CFMOTO look pretty darn good.
Yeah. There's a lot of bang for your buck.
The X3 is also, the base model is not intercooled. So if you want to upgrade it in the future, cost a lot more money than probably the CFMOTO will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we find out if the Z10 is intercooled or
The
not?
Z10 is not intercooled,
Oh, okay.
actually.
Yeah, I had conflicting reports on that.
Yeah. There was a little bit of confusion. It is not, but seems like it will be easily intercooled, and maybe that will be part of things to come.
So maybe scratch that point entirely.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
But,
Like,
yeah.
it's a
Minor.
good point. But yeah, like I would probably, I mean, I have yet to drive one or see one in person, but I would probably, like, if I had a base model X3, I would probably trade it in, I would say, for a Z10.
I think that's fair.
Based on, like, having the, CarPlay and stuff already. And,
Yeah.
they have, it's not live valve, but it's electronically controlled shocks.
Yeah.
You can adjust, the compression from, what is it, a button?
It's
on
a
the screen?
switch.
Or
Yeah.
there's a switch. Yeah, on the steering wheel, isn't it?
Right on the steering wheel. Yeah.
Mhm.
Drive modes are on the steering wheel. Big, start stop button on the steering wheel.
Yeah, so you said it's essentially like a Fox QS3 with an electric motor on it.
That's my take on it. They call it a QSE. But
Okay, okay.
It's a 3 position. So yeah, it's
And like my old X3, the QS3s were just fine, I thought.
they work well.
And I enjoyed
Right.
it because then I don't have to go through and count the clicks and all that stuff anytime I want to adjust the suspension.
Mhm.
Just turn the knob.
Yeah.
But they made it so that it's just a switch. You can do it in the cab. Trail's getting too rough, firm it up.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
It's a long list of good things when you get in to all you mentioned. That winch, the switch is built in. It's all nice. Like, they seemingly put in a lot of thought into adding accessories and making that easy. Like, it's just good.
Yeah.
It's
I
just good.
forget about the winch. It's just hidden
Yeah.
in there, tucked up. Like,
Comes
Mhm.
with it.
it's just really useful. People give us so much crap for not having winches in
Yeah.
all our machines.
Yeah.
And also a big thing for me is weight. So I believe a base model X3 now is about 1,600 pounds dry. And then the Z10 they have at roughly 1,800 pounds dry. So it's still a lightweight machine, in my opinion. It's not over that, 1 ton figure.
Right.
It is significantly more beefy than an X3 too.
Yeah.
You suspension wise and frame wise, it's
And that
So,
number confirms that. It's
Yeah.
a couple, it's a bit heavier than an X3, but it isn't the, heavyweight, something that I don't like just because I don't like the way it makes the car drive. Said this 100 times.
Mhm.
Makes it feel less playful when you have a 2,400 pound dry weight.
Yeah.
Well, you have to almost relearn how to drive with that weight. You're driving
different
with
style.
momentum
Yeah.
now. You're driving with weight.
Right. It becomes closer and closer, and maybe there's still a large gap, but, the more expensive they get and the heavier they get, the more they drive like, and the more they make you consider something like, do I just want a truck?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if I'm going to have a 2,500 pound side by side that costs 50 grand, I personally, I'm like, I'm just buying a pre-runner at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't what I want in a side by side anymore.
Yeah, because a lighter machine, you can just sort of point and shoot.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
when they get up there in the 2,500 pound range, now instead of point and shoot, you're swinging the weight around.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of, like you said, relearn how to drive it to get that weight to do what you want it to do.
yeah, they definitely lose the power sports feeling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They
I
do.
think they lose the intensity.
They
The
do.
intensity.
Something
That's
like
a
an
great.
X3.
Yeah. That's a great
Right.
word to describe that.
Yeah.
and
that-
also 50 grand for a side by side, even if you can just totally afford that, and it's just not a big deal at all. At some point, it starts to feel stupid to spend that much money on a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
I don't know, especially something you can't drive on the street.
Right.
Because say what you want about Jeeps, at least you can still drive them to the trail.
In theory,
Yeah.
still useful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different buyers for these things for different reasons, but I think there are a lot of buyers that are looking at this upper echelon of machines just because they are the coolest. You know, that's a real thing. You want the experience. You want to get out there with your friends and family and go off-roading. But I think there's a lot of people that push into this super expensive stuff to be cool. And I just don't.
It's the
Once you
wrong
get-
reason to buy something.
Yeah, once you get into those kind of dollars, you know, you can get stuff that's cooler if you're just trying to be cool.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Like, you know, used sand car or something like that.
Yeah, like these, you know, custom built V8 stuff, you can have that at 50 grand. So if you're just trying to be cool, go get one of those.
Yeah.
And I think this ZFORCE stuff is more right in the pocket, in the heart of what, you know, made side-by-sides popular. And in my personal opinion, what they should be are very capable, attainably priced ways to get out there and do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like easy, convenient, attainable, capable.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking on the being cool thing, though, I think we talked about this a little bit at the show. It's, you know, like the older CFMOTOs, like always, like functionally, like a lot of value there. You know, for the price, they're good machines. Like you could do a lot with them. But like our Z-Forces, you know, they just look dorky.
They do.
So like if
There's
you,
no nice way
if
to
you
put it.
care
Right.
about something like that, you know, it's not going to make you feel good driving that around. But like this new Z-Force, you know, you could park that right next to any Can-Am or any Polaris and feel good about it.
Yeah.
Because
it
it
looks
looks
tight.
just as expensive, you know. Like
But
if
it
you're
looks
worried
good.
about that type of thing, like
Yeah, and I think, you know, say what you want about, you know, CFMOTO and where they come from and all this stuff. Like, regardless of all of that, having a machine like the Z10 on the market is going to be good for the industry
Oh, yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's some good competition.
Yeah.
I can't wait to start seeing them on trails.
I know, because they're really, you know, unfortunately, like, you know, I still have this personal tie to Yamaha, right? From just years of snowmobiling and being so into that brand, even though Yamaha snowmobiles are gone. And like, you have a deep respect for Honda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really disappointing that they aren't actually competing with Polaris or Can-Am. And neither, you know, has Kawasaki so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to say they're wrong from a business standpoint. They're making things that probably hit the high volume areas of the market, but for, you know, we want the performance stuff, and it's just been a Polaris and Can-Am game.
Yeah, like Honda and Yamaha have really, they've really gotten their money's worth out of R&D on those, I think.
Yeah,
Because they've been around for so long. Like, you know, Talons and YXZs
yeah,
specifically, like they've been around pretty much unchanged for just as long as X3s have,
you know,
so
yeah, I think there's still like just a big market for machines that aren't CVT.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the Maverick R, of course, is just not going to hit that for everybody, especially anybody trying to trail ride one. It's like, man, it'd be so nice to see Yamaha or Honda step up to do something,
mm-hmm.
you know, more like Pro XP sized, a
you
little
know,
bit more performance oriented.
Yeah.
But
just give us a little more suspension and a turbo.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's really good to see CFMOTO attacking that, and I agree. I think it's going to be good for the industry in general. It's going to put, I think, the big dogs in check a little bit and keep everybody on their toes, make them work for it.
Yeah, I think definitely they're gonna see a pretty good chunk of sales slip away.
mhm.
I think so as well.
Yeah. Real big problem too with all the big dogs is like it's still like they're living in the COVID era. It's like they're just like, you know, prior to COVID, all these prices weren't as significant. I don't think they were. I don't remember them. It's just like after COVID, it's just like it's kind of crazy.
Things have changed. Yeah,
Things
those,
have kind of
Yeah.
changed.
those
but it's
those
just still
COVID
holding.
years when, you know, you couldn't build enough things to keep up.
Yeah.
Things were just flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Stuff's different now. We're trending a different direction.
Yeah.
We need to focus on value.
Value
'Cause-
goes a long way.
Even something like the XP1K, it's like really enjoyed that machine, but that's a lot of money to spend on something that's not even turboed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And still is pretty basic overall. Gosh, interesting times. All right, is there anything else major that we missed relative to 2025 model year off-road stuff? I
And
can't
this-
think of anything.
The Segway's not coming out in 2025, is it? Does anybody know?
The
Not
super
actually
villain?
sure.
Yeah.
Super villain. We might be getting close to the super villain.
Could be.
So
So
a
would
lot-
really like to check those out.
Like those have been just hanging out there for so long, kind of just like barely even pay attention anymore. But
I know. And a lot of people have asked about that, and I think we generally are interested in trying one of those out. We've discussed it. We had a couple things set up, and never were able to make it happen. And mostly it's because we just are kind of waiting for the supervillain.
Yeah.
But that's potentially interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Potentially,
that's going just like deep in the exact opposite direction of
Yeah, right.
Oh, I
everything.
know.
Moto, just the heaviest, the biggest machine with
Yeah.
the most power, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean that could also be fun in its own way. Who knows?
different thing. I don't think they'll be for me, but I probably shouldn't say that because I haven't driven one. So, well, all right. 2025. Oh, I guess, we could quickly mention, like, this Z10 is not the only thing we looked at the CFMOTO dealer show, right? They got these new ZFORCE Pros that are super premium interior, got these beautiful seats, got the 3-cylinder motor in them now, new clutches.
Yeah. Push
Ultra
button
nice.
shifting.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are awesome.
they actually are
just-
awesome.
yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Would you say that it's definitely, a Ranger competitor?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Big time.
Big time.
Oh, and those,
time.
don't those Pros now have like a hydraulic dump bed
yeah,
too?
you can get a hydraulic dump bed.
I mean, that, like,
Pretty well.
that's sweet.
Yep. So that brand is going to be trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. They're really starting
good.
to ramp it up.
And even like speaking about little things that they were hoping to improve on the user experience, like those ZFORCEs now have push button gear selector, which is something I really dislike on the Maverick R, mainly because it just doesn't really add anything to the Maverick R. But on something, a ZFORCE with a bench seat, like it gets that shifter away from your knees.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of makes sense there.
Oh, yeah.
Now it makes sense.
And the
yeah.
buttons are a lot bigger and stuff like that. It's like they're stuff is well thought out there.
Well, all right. I think that's probably it. We've got to be close to like an hour in now, right? So I imagine everyone's tired of listening to us talk.
Maybe. Who knows?
We'll probably just keep talking.
Let us know if you're tired of us talking.
We'll probably just keep talking. Going to Heydays
Oh, yeah.
very soon. You guys
See us at Heydays.
come see us at Heydays.
Haze days.
We're taking Hellforce, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. I'm still talking to them to see if maybe we can do some other crazy things, but we'll do, some Hellforce burnouts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hang
That's
out.
North Branch, Minnesota.
North Branch, Minnesota,
Is it
September 7th and 8th or 8th and 9th, something like that.
I think it's 7th and 8th.
Okay.
Same time as LS Fest, which, man, really wanted to go to
You're-
LS Fest.
you're
But I'll
just-
be at Heydays.
You're not over LS's yet, eh?
No,
Man.
not yet.
That's wild.
You never get over them.
Dude.
Okay.
That's crazy, man. I'm sorry, Matt. We got to work on your truck with the turbo LS in it. I'll help you with that.
That thing is cool.
Yeah, I'll get that.
That's very cool.
I'll get that done, and I'll probably post like progress on that on Instagram.
Oh yeah, Matt's got an Instagram now.
I'm
guys.
late to the
Heck
party,
yeah.
but I finally got an Instagram.
He hasn't posted to it yet. but-
Nope.
I refuse to follow him back until he posts something.
I've got a good 15 followers now, so you could say I'm a big deal.
Gosh dang, you're an influencer, dude.
Kind of a big
Did you
deal.
buy
Let me get
those
that
followers?
link.
But yeah, Matt Lee side by side blog. That's
Heck yeah.
if you guys want to follow. Shameless
moment.
plug.
You're a cool guy.
There's no
man.
post yet.
He's a cool guy, dude.
I'm just warning you. There's no post.
I still only have one post.
That's how you remain mysterious, and then people want to
Yeah.
follow you more. It's just like wait
Yeah.
until he posts that one time. It's gonna
I
be
know.
so crazy.
What's his first post? Gonna
Oh
be?
my
just,
gosh!
just post a countdown.
Start from like a
count down to
million.
nothing.
Just like pictures of numbers every day. Oh man.
If your post isn't a picture of your cat, I'm gonna be pissed, man.
Oh yeah, I should do that.
You and
Yeah.
Otis together in a selfie. That's
Yes.
what the world needs.
Selfie with your cat.
I'll have to pick through my selection of those. Find the right one, you know. There's just so many. Anyway,
All right.
yeah.
Well, good luck with your Instagram endeavors, and good luck with your children, Nick Zeus.
Thanks, man. I need.
And yeah, come see us at Heydays. Please say hi, say hello, say goodbye.
Say hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's always a good time.
It is always a good time. This feels so unofficial. I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end.
I mean, we could just sit here and keep talking after we're done.
And
Because
just
this is ours.
what if there's a post-credit scene and we're about to say something super crazy?
And then just cut it off.
And then do say it. No?
What to say though?
That's super crazy that no one will ever know.
Yeah. Whoops.
I mean, I've got a lot of things I can say.
I could say crazy stuff too.
Crazy! Fat! Tree hide!
What?
Yeah, that's f***ing crazy. Oh,
All right.
I got to edit it all out.
We're doing so good. I'll have to bleep you like Steve.
Nick Zeus is hungry. I think we gotta go. I can tell. All right, guys, we're out of here. See you at Heydays. See you back on YouTube. 2025.
Yep.
Off-road stuff. Pretty cool, man. Cool cars.
Let us know if you want to see more of this stuff.
Yeah. Tell us in the comments. Smash that subscribe button.
Or just click it.
Man.
Smash
You
it.
don't have to
Just
smash
punch your
it.
monitor.
Smash. Okay, bye.
See you.
All right, hey. That
Put
was
the googly voice on.